Welcome to Fun is Fundamental. Fun is Fundamental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Alenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. Good morning, Lesley. How are you doing today?
Well, Lainey, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. Just like as like a little backstory for everyone, met like a little while ago, and then it was like life happened. So I'm just really glad to like reconnect now. So yeah.
I know. I feel like when I meet people, from when I meet them to when I get to actually talk to them again, it's like, hi, I'm so sorry. We've been everywhere. You've been everywhere. It's been a little busy, but I also think that like when we get to finally get together and have the conversation, it's like the best time because we've had the experiences, it's percolated, all that.
Definitely. Yeah. I guess first, do you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Lesley Logan. I'm the co-founder of onlinepilatesclasses.com and some other businesses I've started with my husband. I'm also the host of the Be It Till You See It podcast. I've traveled the world teaching people Pilates. And really my goal in life is to help people find ways to intentionally move their bodies to create habits that actually help them with the life that they want to live. And because I do know that when you do take care of yourself first, that you actually can do more things on this planet and you can show the full generosity and love that you have to the world.
Definitely. I like that philosophy of looking at like the ripple effect that intentional movement can have.
Oh my God, it's insane. Like I can tell sometimes when we're on tour, um, there we can go a day or two before I can actually like have some time to myself, which is not never the goal. The goal is always to have time for myself, but sometimes you oversleep or there was construction or whatever. Like there's things outside of your control, and I can tell that by the time I've given to others and I get in the car, I have nothing left to give to the dogs or my husband. You start to get a little short or snippy, or you're like, oh, why is this person calling me right now? Like you don't have this like excitement and joy. Like before we hit record, you're like, how's it? I'm like, today's gonna be a great day. Because why? I did things for myself before I hit start on my work day for other people.
Definitely. Yeah, and also like having like those times carved out where you are able to do things for yourself is really important. I think that unfortunately a lot of times people um feel so like, oh, I have to do this for someone else. I have to do this, I have to do that. Like people a lot of people can make promises to other people and not to themselves. Um
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's there. And it's a good thing to know about yourself. If you know that you can make promises to others, but not keep them for yourself, then you actually need to find a partner, an accountability of some kind. You might have to put yourself on the line. There's like one of my clients, she signed up for some program that like, as long as she maintains the goal that she wanted, then the money that she put into it, like gets donated to a charity she loves. And if
Mhm.
she doesn't, then it gets donated to a charity she doesn't love. And like, I personally could never do that, but like it is working for her. So like, you just need to know these things about yourself because we really do only get this one life that we know of. And so I think, each one of us has something unique to offer the world. And it doesn't mean you're like going to be the president or anything. Doesn't mean you have to be something huge or you have to create something huge. I think we think everyone has to be doing something. No, you can actually make a ripple effect in your neighborhood. You could be the person on your block who just really cares for the other people on the block. So, but if we don't know what it takes for us to show up for ourselves first, then everyone's going to miss out on what you have to offer.
Definitely. What I guess I'm just curious, like what got you started with your path now?
Yeah, it's a great place to start. Honestly, I was really lonely. I had just graduated college and my friends from college that were like, the friends you made during college. It's not like we had like known each other for years, but we know each other for a couple. They all had gotten married and moved to wherever they wanted to move to. So here I was like not in a new town, but starting over,
Mhm.
starting over with like What are my routines? What, like, who do I hang out with? What do I do? And this girl I worked with was like, oh, do you want to go to a Pilates class? And I was like, no, I think that's be a waste of time. I don't think it, I think it's an infomercial workout. I don't really think it can do what it promises. And also, I was like in the back of my head going, you're looking for a friend and this is someone inviting you to do something. So what if you went and did the thing? And so I figured if I go and I do this thing, then I won't have to go again, right? We can do something else. We can like make plans for something else after this one. So I went, and the thing is that I actually fell in love with it. The very first class and the very first exercise, I felt parts of my body I never felt before. And I also felt was like to like drop in and like be in this like movement meditation, which for a busy person like me is really difficult. And I loved it so much. I changed my entire work schedule so I can go every single
Mm,
day. And then when I kept going, I started to realize outside, I would go into class like with all these things on my head, in my head and my brain on my list to do. And then I would go and leave class and I would just have like clarity of like, oh, here are the 3 things I need to do today. And so it was this amazing thing that like I was hitting pause on that busyness, that chaos. And through that, having clarity around what's important. And one of the things I discovered is I didn't want to live where I lived anymore. I was like, I don't actually like it here.
mm,
And I went to work that day and there's an opportunity to transfer to another store. And that's what I did. And so I transferred to another store. And when I went there, a Pilates teacher there was like, you should teach this. And I was like, can I teach this? So within a year of moving, I ended up becoming a Pilates instructor. And I was so excited just to teach something that I loved. Like for a living, I could do something I loved and I was so passionate doing. And the more I taught, the more I realized like how many people have a misunderstanding, including myself at the time. Um, I learned the misunderstanding as I became a teacher, but of what fitness and exercise are for. So many
mhm.
people use it as a form of punishment for how they were the day before, or to make changes to their body that truly exercise alone cannot do. Not a single exercise program out there can do changes to your body that you're expecting. There are so many things that go into play when it comes to how your body moves, how it operates, what is possible for your body. And so because I was experiencing that, I was seeing so many women come to me and really like shaming themselves, judging themselves, and then using movement to try to like fix things. I really was like, okay, well, how did Pilates affect my life? It made me really, really strong and it helped me get more in touch with myself. I think that's what we can really actually do here. And that's what I'm going to help you. And, not to, and I never would ever say, like, I think your goal is stupid. I
Mhm.
would just be honest, I'm like, you need a nutritionist for that goal, but here's what I can do with you. And because of that, more and more women trusted me. And that's kind of how I got into this mission. Like, how do I help people realize that movement is actually key to longevity? And if we can stop using movement as punishment for things, we might actually want to do it more.
Mhm. Yeah, I find your honesty refreshing because so much so many of us have been like fed these lies throughout the years because someone's trying to sell something,
Yeah.
of like the miracle that is this exercise program kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then like feeling like you're doing something wrong if you don't have this miracle from this one thing, Yeah.
Right. 100%. And that's really like, it's this very interesting thing. I find I have recently heard that statement of like, if a man has 6 out of 10 like qualifications for a job, he'll apply, but the woman will only apply if she has 10 out of 10. I
Mm,
think women in general, we have such high expectations of ourselves, and probably because we have to like even we have to do so much more to get noticed for things. And we make one mistake and it becomes like the thing that we're known for. You cry at work and it's like, oh, she cries at work. It's like that whole thing, right? So
mhm,
here's like, I do understand that there's like an entire system that goes to this, but the market and the marketing around exercise programs pisses me off. And what also pisses me off is that women buy it. If we didn't buy the magazines that say five exercises to burn belly fat, they would stop putting them on the thing. They would not put them on the cover.
mhm,
And as a person who has to market my business, one of the things that frustrates me the most is sometimes I have to put out something like 5 glute exercises. And then in the thing, I have to say, here's the deal. You're here because you want your butt to be different. I'm here because I want you to have amazing posture to take care of yourself. And part of that is strong glutes, but you cannot spot train. And I think we need to just take a moment that like marketing to making your butt a certain way is actually preying on your insecurities. So I'm going to take this moment to educate you. And then here are some exercises that will affect your glutes, but also the rest of your body. And maybe you could just do it for yourself. And it's a really annoying place to be because if people don't do that right now, people don't click on it. So then you're the person with the answer, and it becomes a really frustrating place to be as a marketer of something that I want people to use. So I have to constantly educate people. If you click on these things, they're preying on your insecurities. Period. And if weight loss is a decision you have made with your medical professionals, with yourself, it is a thing that your body needs. That is a fine journey for you to go on. I think it's also important that like anytime someone who says they want to lose weight, we all jump like, you don't need to lose. It's like, if that is something that they want to do, we should honor whatever that is. But you cannot do it just with exercise alone. The science has been done. Exercise alone is really, we should all be doing it. But if you are on a weight loss journey for your health, because your blood tests and things like that have, you want to have a baby, things like that, you need to understand that your hormones have a massive role in your weight loss ability. Your thyroid, there's so many different parts. Your microbiome, how you absorb nutrition, has a massive play, and the food you eat. The exercise is kind of like having a good friend on for a trip. You could have a great trip on your own, and the good friend kind of like makes the memory solidify. But it's not the way we do it. And I really think that it's important for everyone to understand that, so that they stop buying into these things that are going to change their life. It's going to, like, exercise absolutely can be the best thing you've ever done for yourself, but it's not the thing that's going to, and if you sign up for a program and you don't have the same results of the picture of the person on there, it doesn't mean you did it wrong. We can eat the exact same things, do the exact same workout plan at the exact, like everything together. We could sleep the same amount and we could have different results because we have different bodies.
Yeah, I think like having this idea that if something works this way for someone, that means it should work this way for everyone. And that obviously that's very not untrue. And also like, a frustrating thing of like how much of health kind of science is only done on men and not on women.
And it's finally coming out. It's finally coming out. Like, ladies, you knew this. You thought you're probably crazy. You're like, oh, like 6 to 8 hours of sleep is all I need. I should be feeling good right now. No, actually, women often need more.
Yeah.
So like, there's just so, I mean, it's so infuriating. There's a great book if you are interested in like really understanding like what science we do know about women and women's bodies. It's called Eve, and it's the evolution of female mammalian bodies. And there is some very fascinating things in each chapter. You'll learn about male bodies as well in this, because like she does both as she goes through it. But it is fascinating what people have assumed about women's bodies that are wrong or weird or like abnormal or inexperienced, when it's like actually it's like the body's way of taking care of things. And it's really quite fascinating. But yeah, I think we don't have enough information on women's bodies when it comes to health and wellness. And and also your doctor might not actually understand the full capacity around something. Like even sleep aid medications were studied mostly on men, and so a lot of women were taking too high of a dosage. So it's just we have to be advocates for ourselves, and then we also have to understand that depending on where you are in your life's journey, that's going to affect the workout results you're going to have. Because like, if you're 20 something with the metabolism of a 20 something and your body just rejuvenates, you can do a lot of things and feel really great. And then depending on how you go into perimenopause and how early that is, things change and your body changes, and it can be really frustrating. I'm 41 years old. My body is not at all like it was at 31, like not at all, nothing close. And there is the part of me that gets frustrated because I want that 31-year-old body back. And then there's the part of me that understands like this is part of the process and I love my body. But it's also like it's a journey we all have to go on, and we have to understand that the things that are out there for us have not always been studied on a 40 something year old or a 50 something year old, or so a lot of people will start a keto diet because they hear it's really great. Ladies, I wouldn't do it if you haven't gone through menopause yet. Like there's just different things that they haven't studied, and we go and do it because the marketing is preying on your insecurities. So you gotta know, like, you gotta know the full thing so you make the best decision for yourself.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I'm also a woman in their in her 40s. I just turned 43 just on Thursday. And like seriously, the hormones thing, like they don't like you hear about perimenopause, but like all I hear really is like, oh, hot flashes, like things like that. Like it's
Yeah.
like very like surface level, like, and
Yeah.
it's just like
They're not
what
telling you
like what's
you're
actually
drying
happening? You're
out
like,
from the
what?
inside. Yeah. It's, I'm so grateful. I have a lot of women who are older than me in my life, and they have actually been sharing their process and their journey with me and the research that they're going through. And so I really do commend them. And I think that, happy birthday, by the way, women, you and I and other women in their early 40s, hopefully are benefiting from the women 10 years older than us who are actually like going, hold on, my mom did not tell me this. No one told me this. I also feel like women of around our age who had babies, like their friends actually told them, like, hey, here's the real, because I feel like for so many generations, like, you keep that quiet, you don't talk about it, like we don't talk about it. And like if we
Mhm,
don't talk about it, we don't get to understand, and we don't get to learn from each other. That is the importance of talking about things. That's why stories are so important. We get to learn from them. We can extrapolate information for ourselves. So I interviewed on my podcast a women's telemedicine company, and they were explaining what they do. And I was like, hold on, I am interested. And I have been feeling off for quite some time. I have tried everything to advocate for myself with my own medical professionals that I have, and they have not listened in the way that I like. And they're like, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. And I'm like, I'm 41. We've wait and saw, and the numbers are still low. I don't feel like myself. I'm not depressed, but I don't feel like I have the capacity to handle the things that I need to handle on a regular basis. And that makes me distrust myself. And that is not okay because I have things to do. And sure enough, I get someone who specializes in women's health to look at it, and they're like, yeah, babe, you can be on this right now. We can just call that in for you. So in 2 to 5 business days, I'm going to have the drugs that are supposed to help me. Now, it's not a cure all, and it's going to be a process, but I'll figure out what works for me. But the hormones are a real thing, and there is more and more information that you can do hormone therapy earlier, and it can actually make menopause easier for you. And there's even links to doing hormone therapy earlier in preventing dementia. So
mm,
it's really, really important that you not go, oh, I'll just manage it. Oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, I'm just getting older. Not a single person can tell me, well, you are in your 40s. I don't want to hear that. I am in my 40s, and there is interventions we have today. So why don't we use them?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely hope that like more people can like learn about that, because it does sound like even in the medical field it's like very specific uh doctors that are specializing in that like know about that and not just
Yeah.
a
And then
general.
you have to figure out if you have access to that. It's so hard. It's so hard. And like, that's one of the reasons why also movement is so important to me, because when you move your body regularly, you can compare yourself to yourself, and you can start to notice, wow, this is getting harder. Oh, wow, this has been harder for a long time.
Mhm,
It like, if you have these routines that you do, you're able to notice those changes because you know your body from 5 months ago when you were doing that routine.
mhm,
And my grandmother passed away from a brain tumor. Now, let me just say, they would never been able to save her life. So, like, let's just know that. But we also found out so close to the end. And
mm,
had she been a more active person, it's quite possible she would have noticed something sooner. Now, would that have been better to know that she had the cancer sooner? I don't know, right? I can't go back in time and say that, but I can say that when you have a consistent movement practice where you're intentional about your movement and you're spending time in your body, you are more aware of, I've been tired for a really long time. Wow, I feel weaker than I normally feel. Like, these are important indicators that something might be going on inside your body, that it's not about, oh, we need to exercise more to fix that. No, probably you need to go get your blood work done.
Mhm.
You probably need to go see what's going on because our bodies are changing all of the time. And so we need to have something that's a constant to kind of give us like a barometer check of like, oh yeah. Oh, actually, no, I feel really great. So that must have been my cycle, or maybe I slept wrong. Like, it's not that everything is bad all the time, but sometimes if it's going on for a long period of time, I could tell you that I've been going, my workouts are a struggle for the last 6 months. They never used to be. That means something is off.
Mhm. That's a really good point that I don't hear people making a lot, that it's just like it's like a way exercise being a way to check in with your body as opposed,
Mm-hmm.
because it's definitely not the conversation that most people are having. So,
No,
yeah.
no, no. Are you kidding? People are going there to like run their anger out, punch it back, like get the stress out. And all of that is fine. All of that is fine.
Sure.
But you can also, it's a great way to notice. It's a great way to just check in on like, wow, I lift weights every Thursday and my strength is getting weaker.
Mhm.
Hmm. That is not how it works.
Yeah. 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 No,
It's just
it
not
should
how it
not get
works.
harder.
So it's just not how it works. And there's enough science to say that if you were to continue and be consistent with your weight training practice over time, you can get stronger. So if you're not, that is a sign you need to go get something checked out. And it might be nothing, or it might be as simple as, oh, actually you are low on a testosterone or your thyroid. Like these are just things. And when you find things out about your body earlier, there are interventions that can be done. And
Mhm.
if we wait too long, there are certain things that cannot be unchanged. I have a lot of people who would come to Pilates with me after they're 50. And I'm so grateful that they're coming. They're like, oh, I was so busy with my life and with my work, so I can finally take care of me. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing about your back. There's only so much I can do because we waited too long.
Mm.
Here's the thing about your kyphosis. There's only so much we can do because you waited. Like we need to, and the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. Second best is today. So start when you can. I don't want anyone to go, oh, it's too late for me. It never is. But there are some things that we do lose the ability to reverse or prevent the longer we wait.
Sure. Well, yeah, because our bodies aren't like producing certain like healing
Mm-hmm.
things as much as we get older, right? Yeah.
Well, also like after 30, your ability to put on muscle mass changes
Hmm.
and it gets worse every decade. And so if you wait until after 40 to strength train, you are limited into what we can actually do with your strength training practice. It's just the way it is. Also, your bone health. You got to, that's what, so I wish kids worked out sooner. I wish it was like, I hated that in high school they got rid of PE after like sophomore year. I'm like, no, I actually wouldn't mind it. Like, I thought PE was great. Yeah, I don't want to shower in front of people. That was never like my thing as a teenager that I
Sure.
felt comfortable. But also looking back, creating movement moments for people as long as we can so that when they are going into their adult life, they have those habits is great for them understanding how to move their bodies and build the muscle capacity they need as they're younger when it's easier. It's just so
Hmm.
hard. I do have an algorithm on my phone where I get to see 60, 80, 90, 100-year-old women doing crazy, amazing things.
Sure. Yeah.
And there are certainly outliers where like I'm a 100-year-old sprinter and I started at 80. Yes, she's awesome. That's great. But that doesn't mean we all are going to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So if this is like something that's getting you to think about moving your body, I would love for you to do Pilates, but also like find a movement that feels good to you. You should feel good doing it. Doesn't mean it's not
Mhm.
gonna be hard, but it should actually feel like you want to go do it because motivation is a very, very fickle thing. And so you don't want to choose something that you're like forcing yourself to do because on a day you're not motivated, which is going to be more days than not, you're
Yeah.
not going to go.
Yeah. 100%. Motivation. I think, yeah, people like rely on motivation and willpower so much. And it's like they get tired. And like, I think there's like this whole thing about like, you make this many choices in a day kind of thing. And like,
Yes.
you just get tired.
Yeah,
Like,
decision fatigue is real.
yeah.
It is real. And also like, you know, so motivation and willpower. Willpower there's no way you will have the same willpower in the morning that you have it at night. Like it's just that's part of that decision fatigue. But I've had a few people in my group go, I'm just like lacking motivation. I'm not doing things I want to do because I'm lacking motivation. I just wonder what's wrong with me. And I'm like, nothing is wrong with you. It's what's wrong is that you're relying on motivation to do the things you say you want to do. So for anyone saying I'm lacking motivation, one of the things I would actually ask you is like, do you want to do the thing that you think you can be motivated to do? Because if you really actually want to do the thing, you will figure out a way.
Mhm.
And if you're like, I really want to do the thing and I cannot find a way, I would probably still suggest that you go get your hormones checked because maybe you're lacking B vitamins and other hormones that make you feel happy. Like it might be that, right? But let's just say you are lacking motivation and you want to do the thing and you're struggling with it. I would ask yourself, if you really want to do it, are you making it an option to make it as small as possible so it's easier for you to do? Or are you someone who's super busy and you're like, I got to work out for an hour every day? I do not have an hour every day to work out some days, but not every day, right?
Mhm.
So maybe you actually need to be more like I'm gonna work out for 15 minutes. Maybe it's 5. You've got to find a way to make the thing that you're trying to get yourself to do small enough that it's easier for you to do it. And then the other thing that we have to do is realize that our habits and routines are how we live the life we want to live. And so if you don't like what's going on, I would ask you to check out your habits and routines. And if like Lesley, there's no time about all these things, then you have to give yourself permission to put pause on that and stop punishing yourself for lacking motivation for the thing that you don't have time to do in the first place. So
Mhm.
like let's just be really honest about what it is. You're not able to make time for that right now. What can you do? There's always something. There's always ways, right? If you have kids who have a soccer meet, I interviewed a woman who took a 12-inch step. She set it on the sideline and she just stepped on this step for the entire 90-minute soccer game, right?
Wow.
She's like, she had 7 kids. She's like, I don't have time to go to the gym. So I'm here, I'm present at this game. I'm even more present than half the parents. I'm not talking to them. I'm on this step. So there are always ways to add in things to help you have self-care. Sometimes you have to be creative, but you're relying on motivation to be consistent is, I guarantee you, means you'll be inconsistent. It's just not possible to have motivation every single day for something that can be tricky to do. So that's where habits and routines have to be there.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I remember like there was like this part of like Atomic Habits where they talk about the guy who just would just show up to the gym. That's all he would do to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally he started exercise because it was just like making the routine of just like just showing up, kind of thing. Yeah.
100%. There was a woman, when I worked at a gym, she had twins and her husband got her a gym membership and somebody was like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that for her. And I like, as like a negative thing. And I'm like, I don't know that he was intentionally saying you have to go lose weight. Like, I think that like, that's a really strong, harsh way of looking at it. Because what I see is she sits in the locker room, which has these beautiful couches. She reads a magazine. She comes to the gym, she sits
Nice.
in the locker room, and she gets an hour by herself. And over time, she started getting on the elliptical and then started lifting weights. And as she was ready, she added in more. It is, we have to normalize that it is okay to just start where you are.
Hmm.
You don't have to go all in. And Atomic Habits is correct. So BJ Fogg is the founder of Tiny Habits and the behavior science. He's part of the scientists who created behavior science at Stanford. And James Clear and all these other people have seen the studies. And he literally is like, he said, I wanted to work out more. And what I decided to do was 3 push-ups, 3 wall push-ups. And he's like, I'm always near a wall after I flush a toilet. So after I go to the bathroom, I will turn to the wall and do 3 wall push-ups. And it got him to start getting those exercise endorphins and to seeing how easy exercise could be. And then eventually those 3 wall push-ups turned into other things, but like making things possible. So yes, you can also just drive to the gym. You don't even have to go inside. You can also just put your gym shoes on, finding ways to make it possible. And then if you do more, you call it extra credit. You don't call it the habit, because it's not the habit yet until you're ready.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think there was like someone else that was just like, yeah, literally just put my shoes on, walk out the door, come back. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like that's your habit so far. Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. I think this world has such a perfectionist mentality that like
Hmm.
we think it's all or nothing. And that's why it has to be small. No, my habit is not actually getting in the car. It's walking outside and coming back in. That is fine. You know, um, that being a perfectionist is what holds a lot of people back from actually living the life that they want to live. And then they use this badge, well, I'm a perfectionist, and so I can't do it till it's right. And it's like, I hear you, and nothing will ever be.
Yeah, yeah. 100%. Yeah. Well, and it's like, how often is like January 1st and I'm going to do this and this and this. And like they just like you put so much on like to be like I'm going to do all these things. And then it's like because it's like you're going from 0 to, 50 instead of,
Hmm.
0 to 5.
Yeah.
It's too much. You're not that person yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I really thought like that the pandemic, with all the disruption it had, would like kind of disrupt that, like, the New Year's New You stuff. And I think we had like a good 1 year where I didn't see a lot of New Year New You anything. And it's all back. I saw it all 2020 going to 2024. And I think like I have thought, and I wrote a blog many, many years ago, that like New Year is basically like kind of when you get to do the update on your phone, but it's for you. So it's the same you, but like a little bit more. You have a little bit more different. You have more experience, more interesting information about yourself and others and how you want to interact in this world. And I think it's a great way to reflect at the end of the year based on like, what did you like about this? What didn't you like? And just like a phone will get rid of things that we no longer need or don't like using, or not functional, you can too, but it doesn't mean you're a new person. You're just upgraded. It's like when I get my next phone, it is a new to me phone, and it's a new option, but it's still the phone that I'm used to using. The buttons are still going to be the same. The way I expect it to operate will still be the same. And so if we can actually just think about how we want to upgrade ourselves. And by the way, you can start that on your birthday. You can start that on the first of any month. You can start it on a new moon. You know, it doesn't have to be in January just because that's what it feels like. The truth is that spring is when we should be having the first of the year anyways.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really hard to start things new in the middle of winter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Like for me, like January is one of those like dead zones where I'm just like, I just want to like hibernate. Like, let's just like watch movies and like curl up in a blanket and like it's so
Yeah.
gray here. I don't want to try to like I don't have the motivation to try to like go do these things. But once spring starts and it's like starting to get like brighter and warmer and then I have all this
Yeah.
energy and I'm like, I'm gonna tackle this thing. There's a reason why there's spring
Yes.
cleaning, you know?
Yes. No, it's so true. It's so true. And so like, give yourself permission, like whenever you're listening to this can be, you can start today. You don't have to start, and you can start things on a trip, and you can start things on during the holiday break. Like you can start them whenever you want. But just make them small and make sure it's something that you want to do. And it's okay to change your mind. If you thought like, if I encourage you to do Pilates and you tried someone Pilates class and you didn't like it, that doesn't mean you don't like Pilates. Maybe you don't like that teacher. Okay, find someone new.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Earlier you were talking about like checking in with your body and stuff. And I know uh, for a lot of people there's a feeling of not being feeling very safe in their body. So like they live in their head a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like uh any thoughts or wisdom for people that like just have a hard time even just like connecting with their body?
Yeah. I understand and I probably don't. I think we all have different reasons why we might not be fully connected to our body. And I think depending on what kind of trauma, little T or big T that you've had, I really do hope that you're working with a somatic therapist, someone who can really help you move that. But here is the interesting thing about exercise. Trauma leaves the body through movement. And so in a lot of ways, it might be the thing that lets something release from you. And if you are not ready to let things release, I think it's really important that you have someone you can talk to about that. But when I teach people in person, if emotions come up, sometimes people get angry, sometimes people get sad, some people cry in the middle of an exercise and they don't know why and they're embarrassed. The thing I don't ever say is like it's okay. I actually just like because whenever you say it's okay, people like I actually just let it be and I let them have their moment. I'm like, we can keep going or we can switch out of this exercise. And if they are struggling to let that process, I just say, how long have you been feeling this way? And so if you are working out, and here's a beautiful thing. We now more than ever, you can pretty much do any workout you want from the comfort of your own home. So if you are someone who does not feel comfortable in your body or have that connection to being in your body, the beautiful thing is you can do this from the privacy of your own space. No one will see you. You can do these things. So I would ask you to ask yourself the same thing. How long have I been feeling this way? And if you cannot figure that out, then it is a sign that having a somatic therapist or someone who can help you release these things in your body is really important because you get this body. This is not like you are not a head. You are a whole body. We actually get to have a head and a heart and a gut, right? Like those things work together. And so Pilates is going to force you to get out of your head and into your body, but not in a way that you should be judging your body. And if you find yourself doing that, I would suggest you find a different teacher. Um, what I aim for, and the teachers in my site who teach for me as well, what we aim for is like just being like just feeling and noticing and feeling and noticing, almost like when you meditate and you notice a cloud or you notice the thought. The same thing goes because as human beings, we start to try to reason. We start to like figure out a logical reason why we feel a certain way. And you might not actually be able to fully like articulate what that reason is.
Mhm.
And sometimes you will create a story around something that isn't true. And then you're not actually letting that stuff leave yourself. So it's not going to be easy. And I would also say, like, I had stomach issues for a really long time. So I never really felt my abdominals, my lower abdominals specifically in a Pilates session. And teachers like, you should be feeling it here. You should be feeling it here, which is why like I try really, really hard to not say you should be. I say I like you to be.
Mhm.
But also um, I had to learn how to trust that if my bones were in place, that the connections were happening because what moves the bones is the muscles.
Mhm.
And so if I were you and your body doesn't feel safe, one, I really hope you have someone you can talk to about that. And two, find a way to be in a safe environment outside of your body that you can start to move in and take it easy. Like do 5 minutes. Don't do a full hour. Even if the class you chose is 30 minutes, just set a timer for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, you want to keep going, keep going. If you're like, nope, that's all I committed to, that's fine too. We
Mhm.
have to be okay with that. And so you don't need to look for the 5 minute workout that's perfect for you. You can actually just pick any workout and just set it for 5 minutes. It's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely just to the last thing that you were saying, like I remember I definitely have had times when I'm just like, just starting to kind of work out and like I'll like just put on a video and I'm like I have to do this much at least. And then like sometimes I'd keep going and sometimes I would stop and I just was like I have to like be okay with it like
Yeah.
just being like I'm doing something, you
Because
know.
also, like, here's the thing what we say at OPC is it's brave and courageous to replace what you can't do yet with what you can. We say it all the time. We're always repeating because you need to hear it multiple times. But the other thing is you should celebrate that you listened to your body and 5 minutes was enough. That is actually like a really cool thing. That is something you should be so proud of. You know, what would be wrong is for you to force yourself to do 30 minutes of movement when your body's saying 5. You know, I really, I hate all pain, no gain. I hate that pain is weakness leaving from the body. That is all bullshit. It's
Yeah.
all, sorry, maybe I'm not allowed to cuss in your body. That is,
No,
but it
no, you're
is.
okay.
It is
Passing.
freaking stupid. And I have actually called that out. And I've had people who are ex-military going, oh, well, my clients know, like, you know, we talk about why it's okay to like think like that. And it's not for punishment. It's not so they don't listen to their body. I'm like, I don't care. That's great for you. I still think it is a terrible thing to market out to the world because people injure themselves because they're not listening to the difference between hard and hurt.
Hmm.
There, we we have not created a society of people who are trained to listen to their body. We train them to like not listen, to just push through. And it is I commend any of our members who are like, I only had time to do 5 minutes, so I did 5 minutes. I'm like, high five to you. You're an awesome human. That you did the best thing you could today. Way to go. Instead of when someone goes, oh, I only was able to do 5 minutes, like I just wish I had more time. And I'm like, we're gonna reframe that because you didn't have more than 5 and you still did it. So we really do need to start commending ourselves for listening to our bodies. Like that's a really huge thing that you did. And you are allowed to change your mind. So if you want to do 10, you can do 10. But like just because you didn't finish the class doesn't mean like, you know, you're less than in any way. And I think that's really, really important. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Someday you may finish class. And that might take us a year. That might take us 2 years. It might never be an option because the life you have only lets you do 15 minutes. It's okay. You know, also, I used to work with a girl who has MS. We could never get her too hot. So we had to take a lot of breaks. And you know, I never heard her say, oh, I'm not good enough. I have to take all these breaks. Oh, she's like, oh, I'm getting a little warm. I'm gonna get some water. She listened to her body. And she is one of the people who like taught me so much. Because like here I am an able-bodied person trying to like force myself to do things that my body doesn't want to do. It's like, hold on, why can't I also listen to it? Why can't I also just go, okay, that was enough today. That's all my body needed.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and also I think yeah, we definitely are always like looking for outside like permission and like someone else to tell us what we should and shouldn't do instead of just like being able to listen to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, someone taught us that we just can't, you know? And so we don't listen to ourselves when we're eating. We don't listen to ourselves when like we often ask, and I think it's great to have friends to ask advice on things, but you know, I really do think a lot of times we know what we want to do. And then we shift and change that because of what other people are going to say. And it really does lend itself to a lot of people having a lack of self-confidence, a lack of connection to themselves, and also a lack of boundaries for standing up for themselves. Your movement practice should not be a negotiable thing on your schedule. You fueling your body should not be a negotiable thing. Like I read that in Japan, it is incredibly rude to be eating and walking or like eating and standing up,
Mm-hmm.
right? But here in the States, we like are eating and driving and like, you know, all these things. Like we're trying, like, oh, we pride ourselves. No, no, no. Like taking a moment to listening to yourself actually is where you get confidence.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the how much we pride ourselves on like how many things can I multitask at the same time kind of thing.
Yeah,
Even though the research definitely is there that like multitasking is really bad for you,
I know.
bad
You
for your
know what?
brain.
And so apparently, like women can multitask better than men. That's
Sure.
like the thing, right? So like the first study that they've ever done where like we can do something better. And so, and that doesn't mean that there's not other things. There's plenty of other things we can do, but this is the
Sure.
one that they did. But also what no one reads is that no one can. We just can do it better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, and then we punish ourselves. We get mad. It's like, why can't I like do all these things in a day? Because you cannot have more than 3 priorities in a day. Like that's just not an option. And
Hmm.
also, if you did 3 things a day, you really did. And there's like 30 days. That's a lot of things. That is like, I don't know, cannot do math. But like, I feel like that's 96 things or 99 things, right? Like,
Yeah.
So, I really think that we can give ourselves permission to say no or to say later, or actually I could do that in a month, but we think that people won't like us, or, you know, um, we're not going to get asked again. I work with a company that I always would say yes to things, and recently I had to say no to something. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. I got this and this going on. And they're like, no problem. You are still going to be considered in the future. Like, just because you said no doesn't mean never.
That's good. Yeah.
And I think that actually that's most things. Most people are not going, they said no to me, I'm cutting them off my list. Like, that's just not how the world works.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, it's just like you invite your friend to like this thing, and they can't come that day, and you're not going to be like, well, we're not friends anymore, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, and if you are like that, then it's really time for you to take some time to consider how you're treating yourself. Are you also treating yourself so harshly that you're not
Mhm.
allowing yourself to have permission to be a human being, and who has days that you feel awesome and days that you don't. And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I definitely like see like hopefully with younger generations we're starting to see like a push for like a 4-day work week and like things like that. And whereas like I remember like seeing this one guy, like this older, probably boomer guy, be like, I work 75 hours a week, blah, 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 kind of thing. Like it's like a great thing. And you're just like, why is that a badge of honor? Why are you thinking that's a great thing that you're working 75 hours a week? For me, it sounds like you're being taken advantage of. Like you
Yeah,
know.
it's true. And like, you know, um, people will say to me, I don't know how you do it all. And I always say, I don't. It looks like I do a lot of things because a lot of things are being shown that they're being done. I don't edit anything. I don't edit anything. So um I I'm not the one making calls to set things up for the tours we do. I'm not the one booking my flights. Like, and I don't say that to brag. I say that as an because I don't do these things. All these other people get to have jobs that they're so skilled for that they want to do, and they don't work 75-hour work week. They work on like, and so if we actually think about like what is great economy, what is great community, it is really understanding what your strengths are and allowing other people's whose strengths or your weaknesses have those jobs. And then we all get to work together on the common product we want to put out there in the world. And no one has to actually overwork themselves to do it. And I think it would be really cool if we all prided ourselves on how much self-care we had. Like I just think like how cool would it be if like we started bragging like I walked I took a mile walk, I did an hour-long meditation, I sat in front of my red light, like, but what we do when we hear those people who do that, we go, oh, it's some sort of biohacker who's just like super privileged. Well, maybe they are. And also, what if we all could find you don't have to do the same things I do to like take care of yourself. Everyone can have a different self-care routine. But especially for the parents listening to this, like if your kids see that you like take care of your skin, and not in a vanity way, but just like this is the thing that like it's the biggest organ in our body. So we take care of it by hydrating and, massaging and moisturizing and putting sunscreen on. Like that is an act of self-care. And if we can do these things, your kids pick up on those actions, and then they believe it's important for themselves to massage their own muscles and take care of themselves and be present in what they're doing. Like there's just so many things that we can actually teach. And so find self-care routines that make you feel awesome, and then brag about it so that other people go, oh, that's a self-care routine. Oh, that's really cool. I
Mhm.
interviewed someone who does fascia blasting, and I said, okay, like, let's just be honest. Like, it feels like a very vanity thing. And like, how in a body positive top activity world, like, do we reconcile this? And she was just like, well, she said, if you had a rash on your body, I would never tell you to love your rash. I would tell you to get rid of your rash. And she's like, cellulite is actually like a rash. It's, you need to massage your fascia. If we all massaged our fascia, we'd actually have less aches and pains. And not that cellulite is not an attractive or unattractive thing. It's just like, she's like, it's just a sign that you have imbalanced fascia. And I was like, yeah, what's super cool is like, no matter what result I'm looking for or why I got the fascia, I spend 20 minutes basically massage my fascia on my body almost daily in the shower. And that is just 20 minutes where I'm not thinking about the work day. I'm not thinking about like, it's just 20 minutes myself. There are different things that we can do to give back to these bodies that we demand show up everywhere we're going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that we have such like little like so many people have such little appreciation for like the work that their body does for them every
Yes.
day for like
Hmm.
decades. Like you're just
Yeah.
like, just be a little bit more kind to your body. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that true? Like we're like, oh, my back hurts. Like as if it's doing something negative to you. Your back hurts because you did something negative to it.
Hmm.
And it's not like you just picked up a heavy box. It's the years before that you did not take care of your core so that your back could pick up that heavy box.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Um, to go back to like you're talking about like with parents like showing how to care for themselves so that they are good examples for
Mm-hmm.
their children. I That's like a huge reason why I wanted to do this podcast
Mm,
was like I was a Montessori teacher for like 10 years, and would see like parents like be so stressed out and like just like not seeming like they were really enjoying their lives very much. And so I was just like, like you should be having some fun. You having fun is a great example for your kids of
yeah.
how to be a grown up that loves their lives, and
Yeah.
not like
100%.
this punishment, like yeah.
It's so true. Like I was just talking with another Pilates instructor, was like, I want to have better self-practice. But now that the school year is out, I'll have more time. My daughter is going to go into high school and I want to be there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so your children never see you take a moment of time for yourself. You take time for yourself when they're in school, but they've never seen you take a moment of time for yourself. You are not actually teaching them what is possible. And you're not also teaching them boundaries of any kind.
Mm,
Because how hard would it be, since they're not toddlers? These are children who are able to pour a glass of water for themselves. So they could probably put a band-aid on if they needed to. How hard would it be to say, from for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to move for myself. So if you have any questions for me, look at the clock. And at this time, you can ask me. They're not going to be perfect. And you will have to say, oh, is it that time? No, not yet. You are teaching them how to respect other people's boundaries. And also so that they can see if they want to be a parent, that there are options. It really sucks that kids, they think that they can't, they're a parent who overworks and has kids and is stressed out, or their parent doesn't work, or they don't have kids because they don't have the time for it. No, there's a lot of different ways that you can have family today. And I think kids really, really are not learning that, like, boundaries are okay. Time for yourself to do things that you like to do are okay. Like, it's so key for them. And we only have a short period of time for them to learn that an easy way.
mhm. Yeah. Instead of them, being adults themselves and like be like, why is this so much? It's like that's because
Yeah,
that's what they
there's so
thought.
few kids who are learning disappointment now. They're not learning what disappointment feels like.
Yeah.
And that's a really important feeling to learn on a small scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh, I'm trying for all these jobs and I'm not, like, they're not even calling me back. It's like, yeah, they don't. That's normal. Like, I agree. It would be kind of them to tell you you're not getting the job, but like, kind of how it goes. Welcome to adult life. But they could have learned that sooner, because they could
Hmm.
have been told, hey, I get 15 minutes for me right now. So Go busy yourself. And also learn how to entertain yourself. Very important thing for them to
Yes.
learn.
I remember my grandma, when we were kids, I'd be like, I'm bored. And she's like, it's not my job to entertain you, like, and it's like
Yeah.
boredom is a good thing because that's when you will get creative and figure out what to do. Like,
You know what's so crazy is that like so many kids are never allowed to be bored. And then they are adults who cannot sit still because they don't know. Like I'm gonna be honest, guys, I love getting bored. I just like when I find myself, I'm so bored. I'm like, this is awesome. I get to be bored right now. Like, what a luxury.
yeah, I get to be bored. Yeah, 100%. I always like to ask my guests, how do you define fun?
Mm, that's a really good question. To me, things that are fun make you smile. And so fun doesn't have to be a physical activity, although it can be. It doesn't have to be like listening to comedy, although it could be, but like things that are fun make you smile like inside out. And
Mhm.
so that to me is fun. And fun looks different today than it did a few years back. And even before that, like what I do for fun is different. Sometimes what I do for fun is other things that make me feel good as like self-care practice. And sometimes what I do for fun is actually like go play a video game. So what you do to find fun can be different, but I think it should make you smile. It should even make you think about who you want to invite to the fun the next time.
Yeah, 100%. I also like to ask my guests what their play personality is. According to
Oh,
the Institute of Play, there's 8 play personalities.
okay.
There's the Joker,
Uh-huh.
kinesthetic,
Uh-huh.
competitor, storyteller, director, creative, did I say collector, and explorer.
Oh, fun. Okay. I definitely think in my youth I was like a competitive play person, but as I've gotten older, that's exhausting.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely the creative. I love give me some magazine clippings and let me make a vision board. That's like that. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a fun thing. We all should know what our play personality is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, it was really something I had never heard of until I read the book Play by Dr. Stuart Brown, and then I was like, "Play personality? What is this?" And then I'm like, "I
Yeah.
wanna know what everyone's play personality is."
What's yours?
I have 3: creative, explorer, and director.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I think my husband will be the explorer. Like we go on a hike and he's like, oh, what's that over there? Let's follow this path. And I'm like, it's not a path for a reason.
You're kind of just going through some bushes.
Yeah, yeah. Is that place an oak? He's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily my husband is also an explorer, so, like, yeah, when we go out to nature, it's just, like, so nice to be like, "Oh, what's that?" You know?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on. Where can the audience find you?
Yeah, so if you are interested in finding intentional ways to move your body, you can actually find free classes at opc.me/challenge. Don't let the word challenge scare you. It's just that they like are 4-week programs that are free. So enjoy. There's also a non-timed one that like as far as weeks go, that is for beginners. It's called Full Body in 15. So you can find it all there. And I love that one because it's just 15 minutes and it's a full body workout and you can do 5, right? So, and if you would like to get in touch with me, I hang on Instagram at Lesley.Logan. If you like the sound of this voice, there's a podcast, the Be It Till You See It podcast. So yeah, I'm pretty much wherever things exist, except for like the TikToks and the Snapchats and where the millennials hang out. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah. Well,
Thank you
we'll
so
make
much
sure
for having me, by the way. Your questions are so wonderful. This is a fun conversation to have.
Oh, good, yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation too. It was really, informative and fun. I really enjoyed it. And I will put everything in the show notes, of course, so the audience can find you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.